Hi everyone, welcome to CAT 25 Slot 3 Video Solutions from iQuanta. I'm Amit Panchmatia and I'll be taking you through this video for all the 5 sets. Now, when I look at the first set, what have they mentioned over here? They've told us there are 7 children A to G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G are sitting in a circle, all of them facing inside, not necessarily in the order. So at least one good part that they are all facing inside. So that's the good part over here. The game is played over 10 rounds. Okay, there are only 7 people, but there are 10 rounds of a game called passing the buck. So like it's a passing the ball type of game where something is going to be passed and same. The game is played over 10 rounds. In each round, the child holding the buck must pass it directly to the child sitting in one of the following positions. So where all can you pass? So if I have the buck with me, where can I pass? There are only 4 places I can pass. I can pass immediately to the left, immediate to the right. So I can pass to my left, I can pass to my right, or I can pass it to second to left or second to right. So these are the only 4 positions in one person can pass. That's very important. And there are only 7 of them. The game starts with Bina. So the game starts with B, passing the buck, and ends with C. So the table also kind of will tell us the same things. The table below provides some information about the pass types and the child receiving the buck. So some information are given, some question marks are there. Obviously there is some missing data and some data which we have. So initially when I look at it like this set at CAT, what is my first feeling? Okay, it looks like 7 people in a circle all facing inside, and they're going to play a game where they're going to keep passing things, and some missing information is there, some given information is there. Doesn't look very challenging, right? Not that maybe even though I haven't done something like that, but obviously what will it be? It will be more about arrangement and so many things, right? Let's go ahead and let's read the questions. As I always advise that even before you decide to do the set or not, your job is always to read the questions really carefully. So who is sitting to the immediate right of B? So to the right of B, who will be there? Can it be A? Because we saw from the table a little bit that the first time the buck came to A. So it could be A, C, E, F. We'll see. We don't know what that is. So that will obviously talk about the arrangement. If I get the arrangement, I'll more or less get this question. Who's sitting the third to the left of E? Same logic. If I have the arrangement, I'll have this question also. For which of the following past types can the total number of occurrences be uniquely determined? Now, this is where I felt that this question was slightly irritating or slightly more difficult, for which they were all the 4 past types which were given. Those same 4 past types were there, and for which of them can I determine all the occurrences? So this question I thought was maybe going to be a slightly more difficult question compared to the first 2 questions. For which of the following children is it possible to determine how many times they received the buck? That means the table, those missing values which person out of these 4 do we definitely know things about? Great. So let's see. We'll have to these 3 questions. Maybe the first 2 questions look very straightforward. The third and fourth maybe not as straightforward is my feeling. So I'm just going back and going to go through roughly. So there is a lot of direct data that, for example, now next to Arav, Bina is Arav is somewhere next to Bina, left, right, we'll see all that. Okay, we'll come to all that discussions and we'll see. Yeah, in fact, that is immediately to the left. So immediately to the left is Arav. So after Bina, first immediately to the left becomes Arav. Then second to right of Arav, somebody is missing. So that's the whole logic. So just giving you a logic, that is, this is Bina. And I'm just going to make a rough start. This is more or less to decide whether I should do the set or not. That's my whole logic. Okay, so immediately to the left of Bina is Arav. So there is Arav over here. Now, second to the right he passes, but we don't know who it is. Second to the right is over here, this position. So this position I don't know. And so on. And then immediate to the right of that is Dia. So I've more or less got, if you notice, I've already got quite some things. So at least for the first 2 questions, I definitely feel like doing this set. Let's see. Okay, so this is the data as I've just put down the data, and this is the table which I'm going to create. This is the circle which I'm going to create. So let's work on that circle. I've just taken any random position of Bina, would not matter wherever you start Bina with. Now remember, all of them are facing inside. That means their left, right are going to be normal. You'll have to think that you're facing the inside. You'll have to, whenever you're looking at circular arrangement question, you also think that you are also facing them inside. Now, immediate to the left is RF. So RF will be over here because it's immediate to the left. So first point is completely used up. As per my habit, I always, whichever point I completely use up, I make a tick. Second to the right of RF is a question mark. So RF ka second right, immediate right is Bina. Second to the right is a position which we don't know. So we put a question mark over there. So that's one part over there. Now, immediate to the right of that person is Dia. So Dia is here. Now, problem after Dia is the major problem. Both the points are question marks. So point number 4, both are question marks. So I can't do much about this. So more or less I'm skipping this and I'm just coming back to where Arav is. Luckily, since I know the position for Arav, I can come back over here. So Arav ka second to the left is a question mark. So do you notice after Dia, I just skipped those 4th and 5th point. I went to Arav. From Arav, I'm saying second to the left is a question mark. Second to the left is question mark. So this position is a question mark. Now, from there, immediate to the left, whoever is that question mark, there is Gaurav. So the Gaurav comes over here. So we've got this much. Okay. Now, after Gaurav, immediate to the left is a question mark. But we already know the position after Gaurav, immediate to the left is Dia. So that means this question mark is Dia. I put that down on the table. Now, where is Farhan? Now, pay attention very carefully. We have 2 question marks and we don't know where Farhan is, where Chirag is. So let's first think about where Farhan can be. Now, Farhan, in short, if you notice very carefully, cannot be in this position. Why? Because that is not within Dia's range only. Second to the right, second to the left, immediate right, immediate left. It's not within Dia's range. And therefore, this point is not Farhan. I hope you all got that part. That point is not Farhan. Now, if that point is not Farhan, where is Farhan? Farhan could be immediate left or second to the right. So I've just put down both the cases. Let's assume Farhan is over here and Farhan is over here. Now, from Farhan, where can Chirag be? Okay. Think logically, Chirag is the last person to come. Now, where can Chirag be and depending on what? Okay. Because there's again there's a question mark over here. Now, if you notice, you'll have to make cases, right? You'll have to think a little bit. Now, obviously, if this is Farhan, then for Chirag, both the places are possible. For Chirag, both the places are possible, right? Because Chirag could be second to the left or second to the right. Anywhere. So let's think a little bit. Suppose if Chirag was over here, right? If Chirag was over here, then who's the last person left? Somebody with E, right? A, B, C, D, E. Then E would have come here. Is that condition going to be right? Is that a possible condition is what I have to think. So, does it kind of, violate any of the conditions? Maybe, maybe not. We'll come to all those things later. Now, let's think if Farhan was, so this is one possibility, but Chirag could also be here and E could also be here. If Farhan is over here, I have these 2 cases, E and C, C and E. But what if Farhan was in this position? Let's use some other color marker and try and make that position for Farhan. So if Farhan was in this position, then where can Chirag come? Because after Farhan, Chirag comes. Again, Chirag could come in any of the positions over here. Chirag could come here or Chirag could come here. Okay. Now, सॉरी यहाँ पे कट लेना पड़ेगा, थोड़ा पीछे जाना पड़ेगा. आई डोंट नो तुम लोग कितना एडिटिंग कर पाओगे, बट कर लेना पड़ेगा. इनफैक्ट ये पेज के स्टार्ट से वापस ले लेता हूँ, सो कट लेने को तुम लोग को ईजी पड़ेगा. So now this is what I have created over here based on this data what is given. I've just taken the data down over here, and this is the circular arrangement which I'm going to try and make. So we know that the game was started with Bina and Bina was passing the buck, right? So let's work on that. Bina was passing the buck. Game started with Bina. Now, so let's put Bina anywhere. It will not matter because there were no position numbers or something. So Bina can come any of these places. Now think a little bit. For the first thing, immediately to the left, Bina passes the buck and that person is Arav. It was received by Arav. So immediately to the left of B is A, that we had already explained earlier also. Second to the right of A is facing inside, so right will come over here, is a question mark. So this part will be a question mark, right? From the question mark, whoever that person is, but that question mark is still a position. From that question mark, immediately to the right is Diya. So immediately to the right of that is Diya. Now, if you notice, after Diya, there is an issue. After Diya, there are two question marks and there's one more question mark over here. That means from Diya, I don't know whether we went left, right, nothing we know. So hence, and who came also we don't know. So all this will have to be just skipped and we'll have to move directly to Arav because we also know the position of Arav. So from Arav, second to the left is again a question mark. Second to the left will be a question mark. So this will become a question mark. Immediately to the left of that question mark is Gaurav. So immediately to the left of that question mark is Gaurav. So now we have three positions left empty. Gaurav ke baad immediately to the left is a question mark. But we already know Gaurav ka immediate left is Diya. So this question mark is definitely Diya that I got over here. Let's continue. Now, Diya passes the ball to Farhan. Now, logically, Diya can pass the ball to the left also and Farhan can be here. Or Diya can pass to the second to the right and Farhan can be over here. So, right now from what I see, according to me, Farhan can be over here or here. Right. Farhan can't come over here because that's far from Diya's position. That position is not possible. So, Farhan can't come over there. Now, let's think from both the positions ka perspective. Where can Chirag come? Now, if you notice, if Farhan is over here, there's a problem because there is no place to, one place to the right, two places to the right, left, one place to right, two places to right, one place to left, two places to the right. All the four places are occupied. So, Chirag will not have a position only. That means in short, this cannot be Farhan. Therefore, Farhan has to be over here. And therefore, after Farhan, the ball passes to Chirag. That means this person cannot be Chirag because that place is out of reach. So Chirag will have to come over here. And therefore, last whoever is left of, that is E, will have to be over here. Let's go through this part one more time. The last part of Farhan, Chirag and part. Let's go through one more time. So, as I said, Farhan could be in any one of these two positions. So I've assumed Farhan is either here or here. Why can Farhan not be here? Let me explain why can Farhan not be there. Because if Farhan is over here, there is no place left for Chirag because Chirag has to come immediately to that. So this place cannot be Farhan. So therefore, this place is definitely Farhan and Chirag will come over here. Once we got Farhan and Chirag, we'll have E and that position will be E. So that gives me the complete circle. But still that will answer only two questions. That will not answer all the four questions. Very frankly, in exam situation, if you were quick with all this, in the first 5 to 7 minutes, you should have got this circle and at least got two questions correct because you've got all the positions correct. First two questions will come straight away. For the remaining two questions, I'm going to fill a few things in this table. Now let's try and fill. From Arav, who's second to the right? From Arav, second to the right is E. So that means this question mark is definitely E. That I'm going to fill it over here. So this question mark is definitely E, Ehsan, from Arav to second to the right. Now, immediately to the right, Diya came, that we did. Now, from Diya, we don't know what happened only over here. Okay. So, let's see what are the possibilities Diya could have passed the ball to. Diya could have passed the ball to G. Diya can pass the ball to G if Diya goes to right. Okay. But, now think a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to write over here. If Diya gave the ball to G, G can now not give the ball to A. There is no way G will give the ball to A. So therefore, because after the next person, whoever is the person between, after that A has to come. So G cannot pass the ball to A. That means this person cannot be G. Okay. Can pass the ball to E? Yes, possible. This person can be E because from E we can go to A. Can it be, where were we? We were at Diya, right? Can it be B? Yes, it can be B also. From B also it can go to A. So it can be B. Can it be on the other side? F. Yes, it can be F also. So it can go to A. So this position can be E, B or F because from all those positions I can go to A. So depending on that, obviously we'll get first to the right, second to the, first to the right is not there. Everything else is possible. So that was in fact, if you done this part smartly and carefully, both the two remaining questions have been answered. So let's just go through that one more time. This position cannot be G because from G we cannot pass the ball to A. So this is only E, F and B. Okay. And depending on whether if it was E, then it is immediate to the left. If it was F, then it is second to the right. And if it was B, it is second to the left and so on. From there we go to R. Again, so these two things can be for R. It can be, so if we are going from E to R, then it is second to the left. If we are going from F to R, then it is second to the right and so on. So a lot of cases are possible over here. Okay. Now from R, if I'm going second to the left, from R, if I'm going second to the left, let's see where that is. R, second to the left will be F. So this position is F, Farhan. From Dia, where is Farhan? Second to the right. That means this will become second to the right. And from Farhan, where is Chirag? Immediate to the right. So we still are not sure of these two calls. But let's understand one more time very carefully what it can definitely not be. Now, here I'm going to write what it cannot be. Okay. Now, so we just said D cannot pass the ball to G. The reason I explained, because G is away from A. So this point cannot be immediate to right. Immediate right. So that is not possible over here. And if you notice after that, if it is E, from E, we go to A. So it can be two places to left. From F, we go to A, two places to the right. And from B, if I go to A, one place to the left. So again, immediate to right is not there. The hint was mainly in this. These two immediate, this cannot be immediate to right. This also cannot be immediate to right. It can be anything else. And that answers all my 4 questions. My first question though is very straightforward. Who's sitting immediate to the right of B? We have E over here. Answer is the second option. Who's sitting third to the left of E? Left of E, third, 1, 2, 3. So C, that will be, answer will be first option C. Options will be different in everybody's paper. So depending on what, case you've got, this options numbers will be different. CAT does that. It changes the options for people. For which following past types can the total number of occurrences be uniquely determined? So this could not be immediate to right. This cannot be immediate right. And this also cannot be immediate right. That means immediate right, we have figured out all of them, but because 4th and 5th can be anything else. It can be immediate left, immediate left, second right, but it can't be immediate right. And because of that, immediate to the right is the only one for whom which we have figured out all of them, which is the 4th option. This was a slightly difficult question, I would say. This question you have to do very carefully. Last question, for which of the following children is it possible to determine how many times they received the buck? So over here, I could not determine. So out of the options, there was E, F, E, B and G. This one we don't know. It could be E, F, B, anybody. So answer has to be G, because for everybody else, we've been able to figure out except E, F, B. Yes, the others are not there in the option. We have to work from these 4 options and answer had to be G. So based on all the other sets of this slot and all that, I thought this was a pretty decently doable set. I would not call it a level A. You have to just read the language very carefully. I'm sure a lot of people are going to feel, oh, it wasn't as difficult. We could have maybe got it. But I think you could have definitely got 2 questions correct over here easily. Maybe if not all 4. The other 2 were slightly more difficult. So for 2 questions, I would call it a level A. And for the remaining 2 questions, I would call it between a B and a C. Interesting set. I think you should carefully have a look at it. Hi, let's have a look at the next set. The next set, I can see 2 graphs. The graphs look very jumbled up in terms of this graph, especially looks very jumbled up. This one, not so much. So I said, first, let me read it. Whenever I've seen graphs and especially slightly difficult looking graphs, the set has always turned out to be much easier, is my experience all over the years. A, C, K and S. So there are 4 people participated in a puzzle solving competition. The competition comprised of 10 puzzles that had to be solved in the same sequence. So 10 puzzles which are to be solved in a particular sequence only. That is, the competitor gets access to a puzzle as soon as they have solved the previous puzzle. So this only after they solve the previous puzzle, they will get the new puzzle. Some of the puzzles were visual puzzles and the others were number based puzzles. So there were two types of puzzles, visual puzzles and number based puzzles. Okay, so from what I read over here, this is visual puzzles while this is all puzzles. So okay, so basically this graph has mixed up both the puzzles and this is only about visual. So in short, from all, if I remove visual, I'll get number based puzzles. The winner of the competition was the one who solved all the puzzles in the least time. Fine. The following chart describes their progress in the competition. The chart on the left shows the number of puzzles solved by each competitor at a given time in minutes. So just for example, if I was looking at A, so when does A finish the first puzzle? You know, that way. So A finishes the first puzzle over here somewhere, which is it, how will I come to know, was it a visual puzzle or was it a number puzzle? Depending on this part. Now see, this is, if this is 2, this is 4. So the first puzzle A is finishing in 4 minutes. While over here also, I think that is 4 minutes. So the first puzzle is a visual puzzle. I'm looking only at A. I'm not looking at anybody. When does A finish the second puzzle? So A over here finishes the second puzzle somewhere over here, which is roughly in the 9th minute. Okay. Now, but in the 9th minute, I don't have a puzzle over here, which means the second puzzle is a number puzzle, and so on. I will get time frames for everybody. But that was just the understanding. So if you understood the graph as quickly as I understood the graph, then this much data tells me that the set is decently doable. Obviously, questions will play a big important role. Who had solved the largest number of puzzles by the 20th minute from the start of the competition? This was like a piece of cake given to you. Why? Just think a little bit. Just go to the first graph, 20 minutes, draw a straight line down. This is 20 minutes ka line. Who's at the highest point? Who has solved more puzzles than anybody else? Okay. If you notice very carefully, then green is K. Right? Green is K. And that's it. He's at the highest. He's at 7. Nobody else is at 7 at 20th minute. That's it. Topic closed. So the answer is K. Such a simple question. Even if you were not solving this set, this was a question you had to definitely do. How many minutes did S take to solve the third puzzle? Again, not very difficult. Third puzzle, third visual puzzle. Yes, maybe a little bit difficult, or no, I don't know. Only visual puzzles? Yeah. So third visual puzzles for S. I think this also was simple. S was blue. So where is S? First one over here, second one over here, and third one over somewhere over here. But I'll have to go back to even the all puzzle table, and maybe it was not that easy, but we'll have to look at it. At what number in the sequence was the fourth number based puzzle? I showed you how we can calculate using first and second. I showed you how we can calculate each one of them separately, which was number, which was visual. So where does the fourth, what I said, fourth number based puzzle come at what sequence? Which is the closest to the average time taken by A to solve the number based puzzles in the competition. So for A, we'll have to do all the number based puzzles and we'll have to calculate the average time. Okay, let's see the questions. Except that the graph was not very neat to look at, I thought that the set was very simple. Okay, if on the screen the graph was much neater, then great. Now, who had solved the largest number of puzzles by the 20th minute? I just explained to you 20th minute. K is at the highest point, and therefore answer is the third option over here. Nothing much to think also. Straightforward question. This was the easiest question. Very, very, very easy question. Okay. Second question. How many minutes did S take to solve the third puzzle? Now this one is a little bit. Now S is third visual puzzle. Not the third puzzle, but the third visual puzzle. His third visual puzzle. S is what color? S is blue color. So his third visual puzzle is over here, which I think is roughly at 29 minutes. It is getting over at 29 minutes. Now the problem is I want to know when is it starting. You can't say it is starting over here because in between these two he could have done number puzzles. So I'll have to come to the first graph. So where is the 29 minute wala puzzle? If you notice very carefully, his color is blue. This 29 minute puzzle is over here. If you want, I'll use the blue color only. So it doesn't kind of hamper it. This is where he was, 29th minute. When did he start? He started somewhere over here at the 27th minute. So he must have finished one number based puzzle at the 27th minute, and he completed the visual puzzle at the 29th minute. So his third visual based puzzle, he finished at 29 minutes, started at the 27th minute. So hence took 2 minutes exactly, and that's the answer. So if you understood the set, it was very easy. Okay. Let's see the next one. At what number in the sequence was the fourth number based puzzle? Now what I decided, I thought I should do this question after the fourth question, and I'll give you the logic also. So just leave this question for a second. We'll come back to it. Let's do the fourth question. Which of the following is closest to the average time taken by A to solve all the number based puzzle? Now if you notice very carefully, these are visual based puzzles. Now I can see there are 4 visual based puzzles. So visual based puzzle are 4, and therefore total we had been told were 10, and therefore 6 of them were number based puzzle. So we need to find all 6 number based puzzle, and then we need to divide that by the time. So this was a slightly lengthy question in terms of the time frames, but pay attention very carefully. The first question we saw, we had explained this to you, that this is where they finished. Now where is this exactly? This is at 4 minutes, and this is also at 4 minutes. So the first puzzle 0 to 4 is a visual based puzzle. First puzzle 0 to 4 is a visual based puzzle. Now the second one is to more than after around at 14 minutes. Well, here there is one definitely before 14. This is at what, 9 minutes. So 4 to 9 is a number based puzzle. In fact, before 14 there is one more over here at 11 minutes. 9 to 11 is also number based puzzle, and then this is at 14 minutes. 11 to 14 is the third puzzle, which we know is visual because 14 matches over here, right? So 11 to 14 is a visual based puzzle. So I've got 2 visual based, 2 number based. Now next puzzle is directly over here at 19 minutes. Is there something over here at 19? No, there's nothing over here at 19. So 19 minutes in the first graph. 14 to 19 will be a number based puzzle. Then over here there is something straight at 29. So before 29 I'm sure there's one more over here. Yeah. In fact there are 2 more. 19 ke baad there is a 22 I think so. Yeah, so 19 to 22. So these were all number based puzzles. I've just written their total. Now 19 to 22 was the next graph, this one. 19 to 22 is the next number based puzzle. After 22 we have something over here which will be 28, 26. Does that match over here? No. This is 28. So still time. This is also number based. So 22 to 27. That's not 26. I think there's 27. We just need to check that one more time. Yes, it's 27. It's in the middle of 2 lines. So 27. That's a number based puzzle. So you have to be very careful in this. Okay. So that was a number based puzzle. 27 to 29. That's a visual based puzzle because at 29 we have a visual based puzzle. So 27 to 29 is visual. And then last visual was at approximately 33. But before that I have one more number based puzzle. What is that? That will be at, no, this is also 33. So this will be 33 will be visual base. So 29 to 33 will be visual base, and the last number based puzzle will be over here. This is 33, 34, 36, 37. So 33 to 37 will be number based. So you just have to be very careful of the graph. If the graph, as I said, was much clearer on your screen, over here it was not much clearer. I thought that the basically what the graph which was given to us by CAT was not a very clear graph. Now just add up all the number base. So there were 6 number based puzzles. The time taken for them were 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes and 4 minutes, right? And the total. I'm just also thinking, this is just a thought, okay? I'm just thinking, was there a direct way to do this? So this is 24 minutes and 24 divided by 6, 4. I'm just thinking now over here, I know he took a total of 37 minutes. Okay. He's taken a total of 37 minutes. Let's calculate because there were only 4 visual. So the first visual took us 4 minutes. This one, we would have just done this graph. Okay. We would not even have looked at the first graph, 4 minutes. The second visual took us 3 minutes. The third visual took us 2 minutes, And the last visual took us 4 minutes. 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 2, 9, 9 plus 4, 13. 37 minus 13, we got 24 even by this method. So much easier. We didn't have to do all this. So just showing you two approaches. I hope you got this, that this 24 comes much faster, that I just took the 37 minutes and from that I removed the 4. Okay, yeah, but I was also doing two questions together. I remember I told you we'll do the third question after we do the fourth question. Now you'll understand why. Because if you're done method number 1, then you would have to not do anything else for the third question. Anyway, this question answer is 4 minutes, which is the first option. What about the next one? At what number in the sequence of the fourth number base puzzle? So if I have done this for A, the fourth number base puzzle, first, second, third, fourth number base puzzle is actually what number? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6th number, and therefore answer is 6. So if you do smartly in an exam situation, that question, like after doing question 4th, my question 3 is going to become straightforward, then you would directly get it. Whichever ways, I don't think so even this question was very difficult. So overall, I thought this set was one of the easier sets of this SimCAT. Oh, sorry, यहाँ पे कट लेना पड़ेगा तुम लोग को. So overall, I thought this set was one of the easier sets of this CAT slot 3. So please have a look at it one more time carefully and see whether you all got it correct in the test or not. Hi, let's have a look at the next set. The next set, initially when people read it and from all the experience which students told me, a lot of people had found it very difficult. Again, let's just go through it. A, B, C, D, E, F are 6 friends. So A to F are 6 friends. Each of them uses a mobile number from exactly one of the two mobile operators, X or Y. So there are two mobile operators, X and Y. So some of them are using mobile from X and some of them are using for Y. During the last month, the 6 friends made calls to each other, several calls to each other. Each call was made by one of these 6 friends to another. So all these calls which you're talking about are only among themselves. No other person has been called. The table below summarizes the number of minutes of call that each of the 6 made, outgoing minutes, and received, that is incoming minutes. So they have given all the outgoing minutes and all the incoming minutes. Obviously, if I make a call for 10 minutes to somebody, that person will receive the call for 10 minutes. So the total outgoing time and total incoming time has to be same, but you will be careful a little bit over here. Grouped by the operators. Some of the entries are missing as usual. It is known that the duration from Farooq to Ehsan was 200 minutes. So one particular data they have given to us, Farooq has called Ehsan for 200 minutes. We'll come to that. Also, there were no calls from B to E, C to A, and some 4 different conditions they had given where there were no calls. That means these people did not call each other at all. Okay. Now, so I'm just going to read through whether I've missed any condition, because I remember thinking of a condition that they mentioned that over here. Only 2 friends have an operator X and the remaining 4 friends have an operator Y. That means nobody has 2 phones. Everybody has only one mobile number. 2 of them are using operator X and the 4 of them are using operator Y. So be very careful with this much. I think if this question was done, set was done smartly, this was the set which could have been done fastest. Pay attention why. What was the duration of call in minutes from B to A? So for how many minutes did B call to A? Remember, this was between X and X only. So this I thought should have been easy because there was very little data I had to look for in this part. What was the total duration of call in minutes made by A to friends having mobile number from Y? So A is somebody who's got X and we want to find out his number of minutes where he called people with Y. So not where he's called B. What was the total duration of call made by Farooq to have friends having mobile number from operator Y? And what is the total duration from Deepak to Chetan? Let's go through. As we'll go through the data, we'll decide how the set was. Now, what is the duration of calls from B to A? Now, let's concentrate only on B to A because that is only X. So, this part I have to concentrate on and this part, no other part. Why I have to concentrate only on these 2 parts? Pay attention. Now, A has outgoing of 100 outgoing calls to operator X. Now, whom can he call who has operator X? Only B. So which means B will receive this 100 over here. These are incoming. And B has 50 over here. Who can B call in X? only to A. This 50 will come over here. Topic closed. What was the duration of calls in minutes from B to A? B has 50 minutes of call where he can't call himself. B can't call himself. B will call A or nobody else in with operator X, and hence the answer for this question will be 50 minutes. Straightforward question, very, very simple. If you just understood the logic of the set, this was an easy question. Let's look at the next one. Total duration of calls made by A to friends having mobile number with operator Y. Now let's concentrate over here. A is type X mobile user or the company which he uses. Now let's concentrate on this. Now outgoing 2. So we want to find this number. Remember, okay? Now there are 2X people, that is these two. They can call in Y, they can call 4 people. But these 4 people they are calling, these are incoming calls from operator X, and here we have been given all 4 values over here. Now see, A and B who are operator X are calling C, D, E, F who are operator Y. So X ka outgoing and incoming over here from X. This is operator outgoing from X and this is incoming from X. So these two numbers have to be equal. That means if I put a variable over here, anything over here like a or something. So A plus 200 will be the total of these 4. That's it. As I said, once you've understood the logic, it was very straightforward. This will be a total of 725. This is already 200. That means the missing number will be 725 minus 200, which will be 525. That's the answer for this question, right? Now, how many people when they looked at the set first time thought that it was such an easy thing? 2 questions already done. Third one, total duration of calls made by Farooq to friends having mobile number Y. Now, Farooq is Y and they're calling to Y. Now, pay attention. That means now we will look at these 4. All Y's calling to Y. So, calling to these people. Okay, who calls to whom is unimportant. We are just bothered with the total. So, the total over here is 150 plus 100 plus 150 plus 375. That's 450, right? 450 plus 75 is 525. 525 plus 300 is 820. 775. I made some mistake. Yeah, sorry, that's 400. 400 plus 375 is 775. So, this is 775. Out of that, I already know this 175, 150 and 100. So, the balance will be subtract and you'll get the answer 350. So, it's 775 minus 175 plus 150 plus 100. That was my answer, 350. Again, we got something very quickly. Understand this. This is where the set was. The set was very doable. 3 questions, very straightforward we got. Yes, last question was difficult. Pay attention carefully. Duration of calls from Deepak to Chetan. Deepak is also type Y, Chetan is also type Y. So we will concentrate only on Y and Y again. So we are going to concentrate, now this 350 already gone from the previous questions, we are going to concentrate only on this data and this data. So I'm just going to take these 2 datas. So I've just made that much data. Now here I have to find individually because I need very specific Deepak to Chetan. So I made this cross table. What is this table? This is the type of table you make for tournaments. Chetan can't call himself, Deepak can't call himself, Ehsan can't call himself, Farooq can't call himself. Total. Let's see what the total is over here. Total whether I will do from here or from here. The answer will have to be same. So what's Chetan outgoing calls? These are from, when I'm looking from here horizontally, I'm looking at outgoing calls. So Chetan will be 175 minutes. Right? I have these numbers also. I will put them over here also. So, okay. Even though this was also, there was no call over here also, but that is not needed because I'm not even looking at B and A. I'm looking at only for Y and Y. So, Chetan to Anu and Chetan to Deepak is 0. So, Chetan to Anu is not needed because right now A is not there. But Chetan to Deepak is 0. So, that is 0. This I have used up. Deepak to Bijay and Deepak to Farooq. Again, Deepak to Bijoy, I don't want to use, only Deepak to Farooq I'll use. So Deepak to Farooq is 0. Ehsan to Chetan and Ehsan to Deepak. Ehsan to Chetan also, Ehsan to Deepak also is 0. So here for Ehsan only 1 is left. That is going to be nice. Okay. And it is known that duration call from Farooq to Ehsan was 200 minutes. So this is 200 minutes. Farooq to Ehsan is 200 minutes. Okay. Now let's put all the totals over here. Now Chetan ka total is 175, which comes from here. Deepak ka total is 150, comes from here. Ehsan is 100 and Farooq is 350. Now let's go to those places where there is only one data missing. Also, we can get the vertical totals. Incoming calls, these will be incoming calls like this. For Chetan, the total is 150. Deepak, it is 100. 375 and Farooq, it is 150. Now, I have only a single missing value over here. I can find this and I can find this. These two will come immediately. So, I found this as 100. Once I got that as 100, I'll get this value also. 350 minus 300. So, that will come 50. I want this answer, Deepak to Chetan. So, I don't even need here, even though this was 100, but I don't even need it. So, this will also become 100, missing value. And that's your answer. That's the answer we wanted, Deepak to Chetan, 100. So, again, the point was the set looks difficult. 3 questions only depend on the total. You just had to understand which columns were we concentrating on. Once we understood which columns were we concentrating on, the first 3 questions were very, very straightforward. 4th question, slightly lengthy, but very frankly, tell me, in a difficult CAT exam, would you even count the 4th question difficult? I don't think so. So I thought these 4 questions over here were pretty straightforward. First 3 level A and then the last question level B. That is how I would put it up. Hi everyone. Let's have a look at the next set. The next set talks about 3 countries P, X and C trade among themselves and with other countries in the rest of the world. So basically there is P, X, C and rest of the world who would trade among themselves. Within the rest of the world there can be many countries. So in short, what will happen? P cannot trade with P, C cannot trade with C, X cannot trade with X, but rest of the world can trade with rest of the world. That was the main, very important part of this set. Okay. All the trade volumes are given in IC, that is international currency. So there is some international currency in which the trading will happen. The following terminology is used. What is trade balance? Trade balance is exports minus imports. So if exports is greater than imports, listen, if exports is greater than imports, then trade balance will be positive. Otherwise it will be negative. Total trade is exports plus imports, which will obviously automatically be always positive. And normalized trade balance is trade balance upon total trade expressed in percentage. That is trade balance upon total trade into 100. That will be normalized trade balance. So some 5 points are given across these. The following information is known. The normalized trade balance of PCX, that is for the 3 countries which they've told, is 0, 10 and minus 20. What does 0 tell me? For P, it is 0. What does that tell me? Which means exports is equal to imports. So for P, exports is equal to imports. For X, it is positive, which means exports is greater than imports. And for C, it is negative, which means exports is less than imports. Simple logic is there, right? And there were some 5 points given, out of which if I look at this point, 5th point looks to be all direct information. 4th point also, 12% of exports of ROW are to so and so and so and so, all look direct information. 90% of exports of C are to P, 4% are to ROW. So lot of information looks direct, okay? That's very important for me. I'm just reading. This is also one more information given. So a lot of information given, around 5 points were given with lot of data. Let's try and see what we can do. First, obviously, I'll see the questions. How much is exported from C to X? Okay, so I need a specific thing, C to X ka export. How much is exported from P to ROW? Again, a very specific question. How much is exported from ROW to ROW? In fact, this gave me that hint which I was talking about, ROW to ROW. What is the trade balance of ROW? trade balance for ROW positive or negative, we'll have to check that. And which among the following countries has the least total trade? So I think more or less if I get all the, I use those 5-6 points completely, I should directly get all the data. So I'll just tell you what I decided to do. Instead of making two different tables for export and imports, I made this same table. If I look at it horizontally, it's all exports, and if I look at it vertically, it is imports. Why are those crosses there over here? Because P cannot trade with P, X cannot trade with X, and C cannot trade with C. So those are the crosses over here. And let's go to the information. So I took the direct information as usual. Always take the direct information first. The exports of P in IC to X and C, exports of P to IC to X and C are 600 and 1200. So I have got this 600 and this 1200. So I've already got two informations directly. P is the only country that exports to C. So in short, C imports from nobody else. I'll repeat. P is the only country that exports to C, which means C imports from nobody else. That means this is 0. This is 0. That means the total is also 1200. So I've already got C ka total. Now, if you notice this C ka total, I will also, this is imports ka total. I will also be able to get exports ka total. I'll get that. I'll come to that later. Next one. Let's look at point 1 and 2 together. The normalized trades for P, X and C are 0%, 10% and minus 20%. So this I already told you how to use them. 0 means exports is equal to imports. So for P, exports ka total will be imports ka total. For X, it is 10% extra. Exports is 10% more than imports, while here it is 20% less. 20% on what? We'll have to just be careful about that. We'll come to all that later. Pay attention carefully. Now let's look at point 2 first. 40% of exports of X are to P. So what all X exports, out of that 40% it gives to P. So X ka exports 40% is to P. Now pay attention, how will I use this? 40% we should know is 2 by 5. So 2 by 5 exports of X are to P. So this goes to P, but 22% of imports of P are from X. Now do you realize these two things are same only? What X imports to P and what P imports from X is the same thing. So this has to be equal to 22%. 22% will be 11 by 50 of imports of P. This was the main thing, that exports of X to P, imports of P from X is the same thing. So if I cut this 5 ones are 5 tens are, nothing else cuts. So what will I get? I'll get exports of X to imports of P is 11 by 20. So I knew that exports of X and imports of P is this number. This is the multiple of 11, this is a multiple of 20. Based on all the way values are given, I decided to take, this was just a gut feeling, I decided to take this as 2000x. So I took this as 2000x multiple of 20. So if this is 2000x, this will be 1100x. So that became exports of X, 1100x. Now this number is 40% of 2000x or 22% of 1100x. It will be same. Right? Sorry, vice versa. 40% of 1100x, 40% of 1100 will be 440 or 22% of 2000, which will also be 440. So whichever way you look at this answer is 440x. Very important. Okay. We also knew because of this 0%, exports of P and imports of P were same. So therefore this also became 2000x. Let's go through it once more carefully. Let's just erase this part. So I'm just erasing things over here so that it doesn't create any confusion. Okay. We got this 11:20. So I started with this as 2000x. So this became 1100x. This is 40% of 1100x or 22% of 2000x. So 440. And because exports and imports for P were same, therefore we got this also as 2000x. Cool. Now we still haven't found the value of X, so don't rush. Okay. Now, what else can I get? From this 10%, what can I get? How will I use that 10%? Pay attention. What is that 10%? That 10% is trade balance. What was trade balance? Trade balance was, if you notice very carefully, trade balance was given as normalized trade balance, sorry, is 10%, is trade balance upon total trade. That is exports minus imports upon exports plus import. So I'll just show you the calculation one time. So this 10% if you want to write 10 upon 100, is exports plus imports, exports minus imports upon exports plus imports, 0, 0 cut, cross multiply, E plus I is 10E minus 10I. So if I equate this carefully, I'll get 11I is equal to 9E, and therefore I upon E is 9 upon 11. This is for which country? Country X. This whole thing was for country X. Now what did I get from here? I upon E is 9 upon 11. Country X ka exports is 1100X, which is 11 parts. So imports will be 9 parts, which will be 900X. So same thing has been done for this minus 20 also, and I've got 800. Same method calculation. Okay, so just this I've done earlier, and therefore this comes 900X. If you want, I can show you this 800 also, how this 800 came. I hope everybody understood first this 900X. Now let's see how the 800 came. 800 is done same thing for minus 20. So if I just use the eraser carefully, so this is minus 20. Okay, so what will you get? Let's do it. This is for country C. Minus 20 upon 100, which is 1 upon 5. This is for country C. So I'll get negative E minus I is 5E minus 5I. So what do I have? I have 4I is equal to 6E. So I upon E is 6 upon 4, which is 3 upon 2, where I know that I was 1200. So E will be 800, and that is how I got this 800. So I hope this much is clear. So we got all these values. Let's start filling in what the values are. What else do we know? We still don't know about R. We have 2 more points. Why are we rushing so much? Let's start going to more data. So point number 3 now. 90% of exports of C are from R to P. So whatever C exports, 800, 90% of that is to P. So 720 that will be, and 4% to ROW. 4% to ROW, so 90 and 4, so 6% has to be to X. So 6% of 800 will be, this 4% will be 32 and 6% will be 48. So 720, 48 and 32. That's clear. Now let's go to the next point. 12% of exports of ROW are to X and 40% to P. So I don't know this number, so I decided to take one more variable over here. I could have got it in terms of X only, but I just preferred 2 variables. That's the way I have done it. So this I decided to take 100Y. Now if this is 100Y, what will this one come out to be? What I said, 40% is to P. 40% to P, so 40Y. 12% to X. So 12% to X will be 12Y. And remaining to its own countries, in the rest of the world countries only. So this will be 48Y, right? Now if you look very carefully, I need 2 equations. I have 2 variables, one X and one Y. I need 2 equations with X and Y. One equation will come from here, this plus this is equal to 2000X. And second equation will come from here. As I said, if I really wanted, I could have used one variable also, but not. If you are comfortable, you can do that. So what will I get? What will my first equation be? I'll just clear that screen out for you. Yeah, 440X plus 720 plus 40Y is 2000X. Bringing all X and Y on one side and then dividing by 40. So I brought all X and Y on one side and divided by 40 also. So we got the first equation as Y minus 39X is equal to negative 18. You can check properly. Divide by 40. So you're left with Y. 440 minus 2000 is 1560. Divide by 40 becomes 39. 720 goes on the other side, becomes minus 720. Divide by 40 becomes minus 18. So that's my first equation. Second equation, 600 plus 48 plus 12y is 900x. So that's 648 plus 12y is 900x. Again, it can be divided by 12. So I'll get y minus 75x is negative 54. Take these 2 equations, solve them out simultaneously. So you actually get, if you're equating for y, you'll get 39x minus 18 is 75x plus 54. So I'll get 54 plus 18 is minus 54. 75x minus 54. So 54 minus 18 plus 54 is 75x minus 39x. That will give me 36 is equal to 36x and x is 1. X is 1, put in any one of the equations, y will come out to be what, 21, I think so. Yeah, y will come out to be 21. So x is 1 and y is 21. After that, what I've done, I've just put the values of x and y. My next table, so this will become 2000 because all x will just go away, they are 1 only. So wherever there is x, that number will become straight away that number only. So this all will become straight away. Y, you'll have to just multiply each value with 21. So this will become 2100. These all values will come multiply by 21. Okay. So the next table is directly that. I've already created that table. So I've got all the values over here. Right. Now, let's take this much and finish off the remaining missing values over here. So this is 2000. We already have 1800. So this will be 200. This is 1100 and only 440 was there. So the remaining will be 660. Okay. Add up and find the total. 200 plus 660 plus 32 plus this giving 1008 multiplied by 21 we did, and this became 1900, and total over here became 6000. That was total exports or total imports, which has to be same. Once I got this, answering questions was going to be very straightforward. How much is exported from C to X? Exported from C to X, that is 48 IC. Answer is 48. How much is exported from P to ROW? P to ROW exported. Exported, you are looking horizontal, imports, you are looking vertical. So 200 is the answer. Okay. Third one, how much is exported from ROW to ROW? ROW to ROW is this figure 1008. That's your answer for this question. Once the table was done, all questions were just marking the answers for them. What is the trade balance for ROW? What was trade balance? Exports minus imports. So exports for ROW was 2100. Imports for ROW was 1900. So trade balance was 200, which is the third option, right? Next one, which among the following countries P, X and C have the least total trade? So what was the total trade over here? Let's see. Least total trade. First of all, total trade is exports plus imports. So P, X and C. So for P, it is 2000 and 2000, which is 4000. For X, it is 1100 and 900, which is 2000. And for C, it is 1200 and 800, which is also 2000. So C and X both are at the lowest value, and there is an option also both X and C. So answer is the first option, both X and C. Okay. So where would I put this set? It was a very, very standard DI set. If I am looking at it and I'm saying before CAT, would you want a set like this in your test? I would definitely would have wanted a set like this in my test. Very straightforward, standard DI set. No logic, not much logic involved except understanding what is exports, imports, which is a very standard thing. We always say that when you're looking at DILR, exports, imports, and all those things are the standard things which you should know. Hi everyone, let's have a look at the next set. The next set talks about A, B, C, and Z are 4 countries. So I have 4 countries A, B, C, and Z with their currencies being A, B, C, and Z. So A ka currency is called A, B ka currency is B, and C and Z, Z. The currencies have different exchange values. That means their relation with each other, like how $1 is approximately 90 rupees and so on. That way these have different values. Crown's currency exchange rate with Zentars is 0.5. That is 1 crown is equal to 0.5 Zentar. So I know 1 C is 0.5 Z, as good as 2 C is equal to 1 Z. If I don't want to write without fractions, I've got Z is equal to 2C. So I know the relation of Z with 2C. That's the first thing. So till here I've just got that much information. First thing which I look at this set and I realize there's a lot of data. Okay. 3 travelers J, K and L set out from Z visiting exactly 2 of the countries. So they all set out from Z. So there are 3 travelers J, K, L and they are going to A, B, C. They're coming from Z, so they're going to either A, B, C. but if each of them is going to 2. So one of them will go to AB, the other will go to AC, and third will go to BC. So that way there will be 3 groups. Each country is visited by exactly 2 travelers. Each traveler has a unique flight cost, which represents the total cost of the airfare in travel to both the countries and back. So flight cost includes everything. Cost of going from say Z to A, then from A to B, and then B to Z home back. So all that is flight cost. Flight cost of Jano was 4,000 Zentars. So J ka flight cost is given, while the other two were 5,000 and 6,000, but not necessarily in that order. That means 5 and 6 we don't know belongs to which one. 5 belongs to K and the other belongs to L. Well, maximum 2 cases, so that's not too much of a worry. So over here I've got about flight cost, where I know one person's flight cost and the other can be maximum 2 cases. When visiting a country, a traveler spent 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000 in the country's local currency. So basically now, first of all, I know that I'm going to 2 places. Suppose if I am J, I'm going to 2 places, A and B. There I will spend 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000 in terms of A's currency, and if I go to B, I'll spend 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in B's currency, one of the numbers. Each traveler had different spends in the country's local currency. That means if I spend 1,000 in one place, I will not spend again 1,000. I'll spend 2 or 3. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3 will be the different possible groupings. Across all the visits, there were exactly 2 spends of 1,000 and exactly 1 spend of 3,000. So there were going to be total 6 spends. So there were 1,000 were 2 spends. Which currencies we still don't know. 1 3,000. That means there were 3 2,000s. Right? I hope you got that. Because why 6? Because J will spend 2 places, K will spend in 2 places, L will spend in 2 places. So there were totally 6 spends. They've said 2,000, which can't belong to the same person. 3 2,000, that means everybody has 1 2,000 definitely, because nobody can have 2 2,000. So everybody has 1 2,000 and 1 3,000. Okay. The total travel cost for a traveler is the sum of his or her flight cost and the money spent in the countries visited. So flight cost plus the money spent becomes the total travel cost. The citizens of the 4, so here I know about how much they spent. The citizens of 4 countries with knowledge of these travels made a few observations with spends measured in their respective local currency. So what does a citizen of A say? That J and K visited my country, basically visited our country, and their travel cost was 3,500 and 8,000 respectively. 3,500 and 8 is travel cost. Travel cost is total cost, including flights. Okay. 3,500 and 8 in their own currency. See, when A says, he says it about his or her own currency. B says K and L visited. So therefore J and L visited C. That is very obvious. Visit our country, spending 2 and 3 respectively. So one of them has spent 2 and the other has spent 3. So K's travel cost was 4,000 and K's total travel was given as 4,000. C said L visited our country and her total travel cost was 36,000. So first thing which tells me there are too many numbers. In an exam situation, to keep a track of all these numbers is going to be difficult. So very frankly, the way I've seen up the 5 sets up till now, this is the 5th set I'm seeing. This would have been one of my last set to be done in these 5. Because I thought that definitely too much data was there. I'd have to read all the data. Not that it was very difficult. So people who like numbers would like this set. People who like logic would have preferred the arrangement set and so on. Let's see the question. What is the sum of the travel cost for all travelers calculated in Z? Okay, that's okay. In any one currency, if we get, we'll more or less start getting everything. How many Z did L spend in the 2 countries he visited? So L spent in 2 countries. How much did he spend in case in Z's? What was Jano's total spend in the 2 countries he visited in A? 1B is equal to how many C's? Options were there. You could have used options. In fact, you could have started with this question using options. 1B is equal to how many C? And which of the following statements is not true about the money spent in the local currency? So 4 statements. So for me, first 4 question was very standard. 5th may be a little bit iffy. But if I've decided to do this set, I knew I would more or less going to get the whole table. So the table I created was something like this. The flight cost, spending in ABD. This is JKL, where they're going. So let's write down what all data I know directly. J for flight has spent 4000 Z, which is same as 8000 C, because I knew right at the start Z is 2C. So whatever conversions I'm getting, I'm doing it that time only. K has spent either 5 or 6. We don't know. And L has spent 5 or 6. So one of these is correct. You could have done it 2 cases. I've done it like this. We'll see as we go ahead. What else? So this point. J and K visited our country and the total cost was 3.5 and 8,000. So somebody from A is saying that J and K came to my country and spent 3.5 and 8,000. I don't know the conversions. I've just left it there as it is. What does somebody from B say? K and L visited our country. So, okay, by the way, here L did not go. Here K and L went, so J did not go. K and L visited our country and spent 2,000 and 3,000 respectively. So they spent 2,000, obviously person from B is saying so 2,000 B and 3,000 B. Okay. Respectively. K's total travel cost was 4,000. So K's total travel cost, K ka total travel cost was 4,000. 1 second. K's travel cost was 4,000. They have told us K's travel cost was 4,000. So B is saying, but K's travel cost I already know is 8,000 A, so but it is also equal to 4,000 B. So I actually got B is equal to 2A. So I've also got a relation between B and A. B is equal to 2A from this part, right? Now, what does a person at C say? L visited our country. So C says L visited, who obviously K did not visit over here. So L visited our country and her total travel cost was 36,000. So L ka total cost was 36,000 C. Now if you notice in the last part, I don't know this 5,000, 6,000. Otherwise, based on this, I should have got this part easily. Let me explain how. Now we had already said that there were 3 2,000s. Now this part comes where there were 2 1,000s, 1 3,000 and 3 2,000s. Now pay attention to this very carefully. The 3,000 has already been gone over here. 1 2,000 is gone. So 1 2,000 will have to come over here because everybody has to have 1 2,000. So that 2,000 will definitely come over here, right? So this and 1,000 will definitely come over here because both the 1,000 can't come in first layer. We can't have a 1,000 over here because everybody has to have 1 2,000. So 1,000 A will come over here and 2,000 C will come over here. Okay. Now that was important that this will remain in whatever currency it was. Now over here, I don't know. There will be 1,000 and 1 2,000, but where, which I don't know. So I'll just put 1,000 A or 2,000 C or 1,000 C or 2,000, 1,000 C or 2,000 C. So this is 1,000 A or 2,000 A and 1,000 C or 2,000 C. So I still have some missing data. I'm going to take this much and explain that to you again. So let's just take this much data and try and solve this. So what I did was I took L and I made an assumption. Let's assume this was the right case. 6,000 Z is 12,000 C. So can I say 12,000 C plus 3,000 B plus 2,000 C is 36,000 C. Now 12,000 plus 2,000 is 14,000 C. 36 minus 14 is 22. So 3,000 B is 22,000 C and B will be equal to 22 upon 3 C. If you look at all the options given behind and all the way the numbers are given, this definitely doesn't look like the right answer. So very frankly, this looks like the wrong case or is definitely the wrong case, and I'll explain, I'll prove it also. Let's go to the other case. So the other case will be 10,000 C. So this case I'm assuming is wrong. So other case is 10,000 C plus 3,000 B plus 2,000 C is equal to 36,000 C. So 10,000 plus 2,000 is 12,000. 36 minus 12 is 24,000 and 3,000 B is equal to 24,000. So B is equal to 8C. If this is correct, then I already know the relation between B and A. So I will get A is equal to 4C. I can just check it in any one of the positions. is A equal to 4C falling out to be right? So for example, if A was 4C, this would become 35 into 4, 14,000 C. Then I will also basically get this. This is 8,000 C. This will be 4 or 8,000 C. Plus I have 1,000 or 2,000. I need to reach 14,000. 8 plus I need 6 more. 8 is already there and this total is 14. I need 6 more. So this is not possible. So this has to be 4,000 C and this has to be 2,000 C. So these two are correct. From here, what all have I got? I have got everything proper. I have got these two conditions. I've got B is equal to 8C, A is equal to 4C. This 1,000 A becomes 4,000 C. You can check it here also. 2,000 B will become 16,000 C. And this 4,000 B will become 32,000 C. Check whether it is good enough, because over here, if 5 is right, so over here 6 is right. So 12,000 C, 12 plus 4, 16, 16 plus 16, 32. Perfect. Everything is falling in place. We have proved that these are right. And let's take ahead and solve this much. What is the sum of the travel cost for all travelers in Zentars? So I have converted everything to C, but it will be easy to convert to Zentar at the end because I know that Z is 2C. So total travel cost for all. So 14 plus 32 is 46. 46 plus 36 is 82. So total cost is 82,000 C, which is as good as 41,000 Z because they have asked in Zentars. Use this. So 82,000 C will be Zentars by 41,000 Zentars, right? So we've got that answer. 41,000 is the answer. Next question. How many Zentars did Lian spend in the two countries he visited? So Lian has spent where? Has spent over here and over here. So Lian has spent a total of 24 plus 2, 26,000. 24 plus 2, 26,000 C, which is same as 13,000 Z. And that's the answer over here. Next one. What was Jano's total spend in the two countries he visited? So Jano's total spend, but in A we want. So Jano's already spent 1,000 A over here. So leave that over here, 1,000 A only. 2,000 C is actually 500 A. Just the answers coming ahead, that's okay. 1,000 A plus this 2,000 C is same as 500 A. So it will come out to be 1,500 A. That's your answer. 1 B is equal to how many C? So B is equal to 8C. And the answer is the second option. Which of the following is not true about the money spent in local currency? K spent 1,000 in A. So let's look at K. K has spent 1,000 in A. That is correct. So this is a right statement. So not my answer. Because we want which of the following is not true. L spent 2,000 in C. L spent 2,000 in C. Yes, that is also correct. J spent 2,000 in C. J spent also 2,000 in C. That is also correct. So answer has to be the fourth option. But let's check. J spent 2,000 in A. J spent only 1,000 in A. And that is incorrect. Therefore, answer is the fourth option. For me, this was a pretty lengthy set. Logically, too many numbers to think of. Yeah, if, as I said, somebody who loves numbers would have definitely found this set easy. But I'm not going to put it below B, maybe C for a lot of people between the set B, because also the other sets were much easier compared to that. So with that, we come to the end of this video where we've done slot 3 DILR, completely explained the whole thing. We'll obviously wait for what kind of cutoffs come up. But according to me, 2 to 3 sets were pretty doable in this test. You should have easily got this couple of sets at least correct. At least two sets with 4 questions each were very, very doable. Maybe even a third set was doable. So a lot of people will get 3 correct. I'm hoping we'll get 3 correct. We'll wait for the cutoff. And I'm sure you should tune in with us and just maybe subscribe to our channel so that you can go through the other sets, other solutions also. I'll be coming up with slot 1 solutions, and we've already put down slot 2 solutions. We'll also be coming out with quant solutions soon.